Right, so hi there everyone. My name is Andrimner of Sweden, and I'm out there in the woods today to get a bit of a break and to talk to you guys a little bit about a new knife that I bought and some other things. So Corona has, maybe first I should explain to you guys why it's called Andrimner. In Valhalla, the chef that had to cook the same meal over and over and over and over again was called Andrimner. So that's where I came up with that name, because I cook a lot. So this channel was supposed to be about cooking, and I'll get there in the end, but it's tricky with Corona shutdown and kids around all the time. It's hard to get videos done filming. So I thought I'd do a little bit about my other interest, which is being outdoors and setting shit on fire. So I recently bought a new knife, and I want to say thank you first of all to survivalstore.se, where I bought the knife. I got a very good deal on it, and the owner Jörgen had plenty of patience for me, because this is a bit of a different knife from what we're used to in Sweden. Mainly knives in Sweden are called Scandi or Scandinavian grind, which means that the knife is like this, completely straight, and then it goes up and then it goes straight like that. Like if you think Mora, that's the epitome of a Scandi grind. And I've always wanted to try a convex grind. I also needed a knife that was like a couple of centimeters longer than my I have still the Castrum's Swedish Forest knife number 10, and I love that knife. It's a fantastic knife. So I decided to go for this convex grind Bark River. It's called the Bark River 1. There are seals out here. I see seals out in the ocean. I'm sitting right by the ocean here. It's raining like crazy, and it's about 11 degrees Celsius. So nice with a bit of a fire. This is middle of summer in Sweden. So this is called the Bravo 1.2, which is, the Bravo comes in several different varieties and lengths and stuff, and the Bravo 1, the Bravo 1.25, the Bravo 1.5, and the Bravo 2, and the Bravo, and plenty of different options. It's a whole line, and they're looking pretty amazing. This is my first ever Bark River knife. Yes, to the wife, it's also my last one. We'll see. So this is the 1.2, and it was specially made for the, if I understand things correctly, specially made for the German market, meaning that it has, the length of the blade is exactly what is allowed under under German law. So it's a 12 centimeter blade, which is incidentally exactly 2 centimeters longer than my Castrum's knife. So that's one of the big reasons I got this particular knife. It's also a lot thicker. The blade is really thick. This thing is a beast. I chose the A2 steel. It comes in CPM 3V and I don't know what else, but it comes in some serious super steels as well. This is the A2 steel, which is a few steps, depending on the heat treatment, it's a few steps up from the 01 or the Boller K720 that my other knives have. So it's supposed to hold an edge reasonably well, and also be a little bit easier to sharpen. And since I've never had a convex grind, and for those who don't know, the convex means that the blade is shaped like this in a round fashion all the way down to the edge. So I'm not used to sharpening that, so I wanted to get a steel that was pretty easy to sharpen, and this is supposed to do exactly that. I'd also heard a lot of good things about the handle on the Bravos, and I mean, without a glove, this thing it sits like really, no matter how I put my hand on it, if I even want to go a little bit further out for some reason, or choke up on it a bit, it really does feel good in the hand. And I went for the black linen micarta. It's a really nice knife. The handle is fantastic. So I have really big hands. So I brought my winter gloves out to give it a go with the Bravo 1.2 to see how it fits. And it's a bit weird because I think it's a little bit too short. So I look at it and I look at how it sits in the hand. It's like, okay, that's a little bit on the short side. But then when I don't think about it, I can feel the ergonomics of the handle really well anyway, even though it looks like it would be a little bit too short. I have size 11 or 12 on Hestra gloves, so my hands are, I think, double XL or something like that. So, but it feels really good. I'll be able to work with this in the winter, no problem. So when I made my Castrams video a while ago, I got absolutely swamped by one suggestion. And that is that I show a little bit how I use the knives when I'm out. So I'm gonna do that. Now, for those of you who wonder why I'm dicking about with such a weird fire, I'll tell you why. I wanted to get the firewood up a bit from the ground because it was soaking wet here, and I wanted to make hot dogs. So I wanted to make a fire that's easy to get the glow going. The embers, I think you call it in the US. So that's why it looks like this. I burn a lot of firewood on top really quickly, and then I kick it down in the bottom, and then I get the embers for cooking on quite quickly. That's why I did it that way. So enough of that. To show you what I do with my knife when I'm out. Also, I'm backing up to a nature reserve, and there isn't a lot of firewood to pick off the ground here. So we live pretty close by, so I carry it with me. That's why I have such fancy firewood with me. It's birch wood and pretty decent for a fire. So one thing that I do a lot of is batoning, to get these things into the right shape for me to do my set a fire and stuff. Now, that's one of the main reasons I wanted this particular knife, is that it was hefty, like really thick, so you can take a beating, and I wanted it to be pretty much exactly 2 centimeters longer than my other knife, because I wanted to stick out 2 centimeters more, so I have a tip to bang on properly when I do this. And apparently it's a bit of a controversy about batoning. I had no idea. Some people are idiots for doing it, and some people are idiots for not doing it, and I don't know. I do it, so I'm either an idiot or I'm not. That was beyond what this knife could do, or this batoner, to be honest. Can you believe it? I am absolutely stuck. So there's a knot in the birch here, so we do it from the other side. Well, either way, this is what I do when I go out. I do a lot of this stuff, and it seems to work. I've broken a Mora because it wasn't full tang. And for those who don't know what that means, full tang is, you see that the metal is exposed here between the handle blades, which means that all this is steel. Now there are, I think they call rat tangs and all kinds of different tangs. You get like just a spike going through here and all kinds of stuff. This is the sturdiest when it's full tang, and that one wasn't, so I broke the handle. I also broke another knife where I think it wasn't, I think it couldn't handle the torque, so it twisted a bit, the steel, and I lost the scales or the handles on it. Also, that knife had a wooden handle, and it got moist and dried and moist and dried, and loads of temperature difference and those kind of things. So in the end, the pins were creeping. so I broke that one too. This one, I really don't think I can break no matter what I do. This is a beast. And of course over in the US there is more of a tradition of bigger knives and that kind of stuff. I think that more people have land. Discussing this with some Bark River fans the other day, and more people have land where they can actually go out and just chop themselves some wood, and they have bigger knives and that kind of stuff. And of course they also need to compensate more over there. Anyway, so this is not a huge knife by US standards as far as I know, but here in Sweden this is yeah, this is probably considered pretty big. It batons like a dream when I get it right. I mean, this is first time using a convex grind actually. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that'll do it. The other thing that you can do when you're out making a fire is it's called feather sticking, and there's something called bushcraft for those who don't know about it. And bushcraft means you're supposed to learn how to, you know, use what's in the woods and not all fancy material and equipment and stuff like that. That's to me is the essence of bushcraft. What it's gotten to in the discussions is basically people are planning as if someone's going to drop them in hostile territory with no food and no water and just a knife and a ferro rod to keep them alive. And that's not bushcraft for me, so I don't call this bushcraft. But feather sticking is a good thing to know how to do. And I've never done this with a convex knife before. Ooh, that feels good. Yeah. If you know how to do this, you make yourself some really good tinder. This will set fire really easily. Yeah. Oh, I can go really, really thin. With a Scandi grind, it's kind of a little bit more on and off, I think. It's like either it cuts in or it doesn't. And once you're set on an angle, that's the angle you're gonna get. But this is, I go really deep like that or go really thin and curly. So this stuff burns well. It doesn't take a lot, and it helps set fire to the rest of the piece of wood. So that's one thing I do. You can do notches and stuff like that. I don't have that much wood material with me now, but I mean, this thing will do. This thing can handle anything I throw at it, actually. Let's see. That. Incredible. I'm doing this in an awkward way because I'm trying to show it on camera, but I'm feeling it now. This thing is as sharp as it was when I started. I would notice doing a lot of this, if I would go out into the wood with my other knives, I would go out into the woods for a couple of days, I would notice that now it really needs a sharpening. Of course, it's hard for me to say if this is going to be like that or not when I'm only testing it out here for the day. But so far, really impressive. So that's basically what I do with it. Some food prep and mainly making fire. That's what I need a knife for. I don't really build shelters and those kind of things, but I have a feeling that knife could handle that really well too, because it's not too big. Maybe I should show you guys a bit of a close-up of the knife. So that's, I hope that works, that it focuses. It's I have a feeling that knife is going to do everything I need it to do. Now the sheath. I'm going to show this to you here. I hope that you see this. And I'm going to sit down over there by the fire and I'm going to talk to you about this particular thing. So the sheath is a very solid, very solid design. I like it. I waxed it up with some snow seal. It's been my therapy work for the last few days. So it'll hold up. It'll definitely hold up. However, that little thing that snaps over, it reminds me of a friend I had when I lived in London for a while. He missed skeleton and bones in some of his fingers, including his pinky. So his pinky was like this piece of rubber just flapping around. And I was like, how on earth do you not cut that thing off when you go out when you're in the kitchen or something like that? He says, I have no idea, because I've got no idea where that thing is flopping around. And I believe actually that one day he did manage to not cut it off, but cut it pretty severely. This thing, this flappy thing, is like that finger. It's a question of time before I manage to cut it off when I either stick the knife in or pull it out. Now, I'm not a tactical guy, or I don't think that I'm gonna get attacked by a bear in the woods. I need to quickly draw my knife and wave it around. No, I'm okay with doing it slowly and stuff like that. But when the weather is bad and kids are nagging you and because they need food and you're doing stuff and you stop thinking properly, it's and especially actually when I get hungry, that's the big one. That's the decider. That's when I start making mistakes, and I'm gonna cut that thing off by mistake. I'm absolutely sure. So I'm looking for a good custom sheath for it, but I'm gonna need some. Since it's not a very common knife over here in Sweden, I'm gonna need to do some research. And considering it took me 2 years to buy this knife, the sheath is gonna potentially take even longer. We will see. So that was the Bravo 1.2, first test actually. So I'll be back with some more tests on that too. I'm gonna make myself a bigger fire, so. And I'll come back with some more thoughts on the knife later on. Thanks for listening.